Hi, this is Erica with Crafts Direct, and I want to show you this fun project that we've created. I'm loving the beads and the tassels and everything about it, so let me show you how to make it.
We are going to start this project out by painting the frame of the board green. To get it a deep color, it's going to take a solid 3 coats of paint. Make sure to get the top, the inside edges, and the outside. Next, we're going to move on to painting our wooden beads. So here I grabbed a piece of floral wire, I put my bead on it, and then I bent it a little bit to help hold the bead in place as I paint. You'll take the same paint that you used for the frame and paint 5 of your larger beads. Painting the beads is a slow and steady process. Each bead is going to take about 3 coats of paint to cover. Next, we are going to mix a little bit lighter of a green color paint. So we're taking the original green color and mixing a little bit of white in it. Just mix it with your foam brush, and then we're going to grab 10 smaller beads and start painting. Again, this is going to take about 3 coats. We're going to mix one more shade of green, so here I am with the original green color, mixing in a little bit of white. As I look at it, it looks a little bit too light, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark green in it to deepen it up. And then we're going to paint another 10 small beads. Once you're done painting, make sure to set the paint aside as we'll be using it again in another step. Now it's time to attach our 12 by 12 piece of paper to the board, and we are going to use glossy accents to do this, and then just make sure to press the paper down. On to the fun part of stringing the beads. We're first going to grab the length of yarn that we need, so we're doing it about twice the length of the board. Then we're going to wrap a little bit of tape around one end to make it easier to strand the beads on. We're going to start with the lightest color, the darker shade, the big bead, the darker shade, and then the lightest color. The next piece to string on is a tassel, so we better make that first. So here we are going to make 3 tassels, so I'm cutting 3 pieces of string about the width of the board. I grabbed the packaging from one of my bead packages, and we are going to wrap yarn around this package 15 times. Once you've got the yarn wrapped around 15 times, we're going to cut it, slide the yarn off of the package, use one of the pieces that we pre-cut already to tie all of the yarn together. So we're going to do it about a 1/2 inch from the top of the yarn. We're going to double knot it in place. We're going to wrap some of the yarn around the tassel a couple times just to add a little bit of detail, and then again double knot that in place. Then we're going to take our scissors and cut apart all of the pieces of yarn and then trim them down to size. And now we get to do this 2 more times. Now that we've got our tassels all made, we can get back to stringing everything on the board. So here we're going to add a tassel, and then we're going to repeat the same pattern we did before. Once I've got everything strung on the board, I lay it out and decide we're going to add 2 more tassels. So I quick made 2 more tassels, strung it on, added 2 more beads, then we had to do the same thing to the other side. So I added a little bit of tape to make it easier to string everything on the strand. Put my tassel on, and then the other 2 beads. Our last little bit of painting that we're going to do is to paint the welcome sign. I chose that medium color paint to coat my welcome sign with, and I left it a little distressed looking so that some of the black was showing through. We are now going to take the beaded garland and adhere it to the board. So here I am carefully flipping everything over, holding my black yarn in place. I'm going to wrap the yarn to the back of the board, and then we're going to adhere it with hot glue. We're going to go back to that welcome word. We are going to flip it over and cut off the little tabs that are sticking out of the back, and we're going to cut it off with a wire cutters. And then our last thing to do is to glue the welcome word to the board. So we are going to use glossy accents and apply little dabs to the back of the welcome word. And then we are going to flip the word over and stick it to the board.
You can find all the supplies to make this project at craftsdirect.com and go to our projects page.